Hey, CVC youth, in middle school, it's Good Friday, and we don't say Happy Good Friday to anybody because it's certainly not a happy day, but it is a very, very good day. And so, Good Friday to each of you today. Today's the day that we all remember the crucifixion of Jesus, the death of Jesus at Calvary. And we remember it especially to take in a bit of the suffering and remember a bit of the suffering that Jesus experienced. Good Friday is the day for us to know the weight, whatever extent we can, but we try to know and resonate with what Jesus suffered for us on the cross. So it's a heavy day. It's a sad day. It ought to be a painful day, but it's a good day in spite of and really because of those things. So today I just want to share a little passage from the Gospel of Mark with you, and talk for just a second about the power of Good Friday. In Mark, throughout the whole book, people don't get it. They don't know who Jesus is. They don't understand why he's here, what he's about. But then in this passage, one person finally gets it. They understand. And they understand not at the ascension, not at the resurrection, not when the tomb's empty, but they get it. They understand the moment Jesus dies on that cross. Jesus has just been mocked and made fun of by all the people around him that are witnessing this crucifixion. And then in Mark 15, verse 33, it says, "At midday, the middle of the day, there was darkness over the entire land." It was like night in the middle of the day. And at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Jesus cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" And I believe God forsook him. He had been forsaken by God so that we would never be forsaken, abandoned, left behind by God. But Jesus was, right? Jesus was, so we would never be. Right? So why have you forsaken me, God? Jesus cries out in pain and anguish. And some of the people standing around there heard it and said, "Behold, he's calling Elijah." And someone ran and filled a sponge with sour wine and put it on a reed and gave it to him. "Wait, let us see whether Elijah will come and take him down." They still didn't get it. They didn't understand what he was doing or what he was about. And then in 37, Jesus uttered a loud cry and breathed his last. And as soon as he did, as soon as he died, as soon as God was split in two, Jesus from the Father and Spirit, the curtain of the temple was torn from top to bottom. The barrier between God and human beings was ripped to shreds. And when the centurion, when the Roman, when the Gentile, when the person who shouldn't be able to get it stood facing Jesus, looking at him straight ahead, and he saw the way that Jesus had breathed his last breath, he said, "Truly, this man was the Son of God." He got it. in the death of Jesus, he understood the purpose of Jesus. Today, I want you to remember that Jesus died for our sin, because of our sin. Right? He died to forgive us. He died to free us so that we will never have to be forsaken by God, so that we'll never have to be separated from God. But I need you to know too that on Good Friday, when Jesus was crucified and he experienced death, he truly, fully became human. He truly, fully knew what it means to suffer as a human being. He came to forgive us from our sin and free us from sin, but he also came to suffer in the way that human beings suffer. Even though he didn't deserve it and didn't have to, he came and lived a life like ours so that he could relate with us. We've talked before, Jesus came in the form of a baby so that he could grow up and fight with his siblings and have scraped knees and a hungry belly and know what it's like to be a middle schooler, know what it's like to experience all the things that we experience. And he did that throughout his whole life, even to the point of dying. One day all of us are going to die. And already many of us have experienced forms of spiritual death. Right? So today, remember that Jesus forgives you from sin, forgives you of that sin. But also remember that Jesus knows what it means to be human, what it means to be you and me. I think a good habit for us is to take our deepest pain to Jesus today, to remember it, to hold it up, whether that's something wrong that we've done or whether that's a wrong that's been done to us. All of those things. Bring our deepest pain to Jesus today and experience with him the crucifixion. I have a wonderful professor who's always taught me that you have to get through crucifixion to get to the resurrection. And she teaches that because without this pain, without this suffering, without this sin, and remembering it and what it costs Jesus and what it costs us and our world, we won't know the beauty and joy of new life. So take that to him today. Remember with him the suffering of the world, of your life. But hold in mind that that's not the end of Christ's story. And that's not the end of our story. Remember with me today. I love you very much. I'll see you in 3 days.